Yo, yo, yo.
Welcome Cam Macneil to the pod.
What's up, buddy?
Not much.
Hell yeah.
Do you
Thank
ever
you
take
both
that
for
headphone
having
out?
me?
You're welcome. Anytime. Do you ever take that headphone out?
No, not really.
Are
Only
you
when
listening-
I go on stage.
You should definitely keep it in on stage.
I think
That's
it's
hilarious.
like, I could do a set with music on.
Uh-huh. Do you have music on right now?
Well, yeah.
Just 21 Savage.
No, what am I listening to right now?
You like Adam Sandler in
Pusha
that
T.
movie.
I'm listening to some Pusha T right now.
Great album.
Pusha T rules.
Great album.
Yeah, you're like a...
Tyler, the creator, made fun of him for this album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he. The name of the album is My Name Is My Name, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so Tyler went on...
Oh, I remember this.
He
Yeah.
went on Sway in the Morning.
Yep.
And he did a freestyle, and then he goes, "My name is my name." And the way he said it, he was just clearly making fun of Pusha T.
But the way he rapped the whole freestyle was just like gangsta
They
rap
did work
music.
on-
It was funny.
They worked together.
Yeah. They're
So,
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny, though.
They need to do another thing together, because Trouble on My Mind was, like,
Great song.
amazing.
More
Classic.
people need to make fun of Pusha T. Because, like, in this era of rappers that are just, like, clearly not doing the things they're rapping about, other than Diddy,
Yeah.
like, Pusha T is, like, I feel like he's the worst offender of that. He takes himself so seriously.
That is true.
Not
But he
really.
was
He worked
about
with
it.
Pharrell, who's, like, the goofiest person.
That's true. It's
You know
just
what I
every
mean?
line is still like, I'm moving bricks. It's like, dude, you're one of the most highly visible celebrities in the world. You're not touching kilos of cocaine anymore. You're just not.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. He was about it, though.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
I'm sure
It's
if
like
he was-
him,
yeah.
Freddie Gibbs, all
And
of
he helps.
all
though.
of Griselda. They can all
Yeah.
rap about
He
cocaine.
helps. Pusha T helps with the kilo movements, with his music probably. There might be some code in there that we
He might
just don't
be-
know about.
He might be like an angel investor to his whatever gang that he used to be involved with that moves coke.
Oh,
Like,
probably, dude.
He can put in like $1 million and get like a 10% return or something. You know, like, who else were you mentioning? Oh, dude, Freddie Gibbs fucking rules. There's an
He's doing
episode
stand-up
of,
now, dude.
Is he really?
He's on the Netflix as a joke fest.
Oh God, do we need that?
I don't know. I don't love it, but Freddie Gibbs is funny, so
Yeah,
we'll see how it is.
I think I saw him the other day. I'm not even lying.
You just saw a black guy.
No,
you
I
just saw a
no,
black guy.
well, that keeps happening to me. I will admit that. But I'm not even gonna lie. Like at these open mics, like I'll bump into somebody. I'll be like, "Oh, it was good seeing you the other day, man." They're like, "I don't know who you are," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, just another black guy." But yeah, I swear to God, I saw Freddie Gibbs with a box of Mike's pastries coming out of the Orange Line train.
Mike's pastries I can buy. The train I
Definitely
cannot.
not, yeah.
No, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. He was yoked, whoever it was.
Is Freddie Gibbs yoked?
No,
Yeah. I don't
What?
think so.
he's like kind of short and like a skinny.
I'm sure he's in
Really?
good shape,
Yeah.
but like yoked, like coming through the shirt. I don't know, dude. My favorite Freddie Gibbs moment ever was when he went on Rogan and like admitted to killing a guy. It was so great. He's just like, yeah, back in the '80s, I shot this crackhead like 10 times. Rogan was like, holy shit, really? He's like, yeah, he's dead.
They went on Kill Tony that night after that, and they were just fucked up the entire time.
I bet, yeah. Yeah, that stuff is awesome until it isn't. Like, openly admitting to your crimes on public platforms is a hilarious and awesome thing to do. Until you're Young Thug and you're on trial and they're like...
yeah. See what you said on Joe
hey,
Rogan?
when you talked about raping that guy, is that... was that real? He's got a
Gunna said it was real, so we're gonna keep you here.
Oh my God. It is hilarious that these guys will talk forever about like how real and hard they are, and you just put them in a courtroom and they're like, I made all of it up. I made all of it up.
Yeah.
It's like how Fox News is a news source until they get sued for lying, and then they're like, oh, this is entertainment. We're not journalists.
Exactly.
Unless you're Tupac. Tupac was a journalist of the streets. He even said that in various interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then people plagiarize that for like years after. I'm just a journalist, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, journalist is one of those like fun titles. I could see a pretentious stand-up comedian being like, "I'm just a journalist of life," like I would.
Gay.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, so Diddy continues to spiral downwards. I think they caught him in Florida. Like they didn't. I don't think they let him leave the country.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, it was just his jet that left.
Yeah.
He posted like some cryptic video. Did you see that? It was like with
No, I
some
didn't.
song playing. That was like pretty much the lyrics were like, "Come find me if you can," like "Catch me if you can" type of shit, dude. He's just getting his hair cut like on a plane.
Yeah.
It was nuts, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I love when guys lean in like that. You know, it's like that Kevin Spacey video he put out after he got in trouble, and he was like, "You want me back?"
Yeah.
Who are your top 3 rappers of all time?
Oh gosh, like my favorites or who I think is the best.
I don't know. I feel wouldn't your favorites be whoever is the best?
No, because like for example, I don't think Mac Miller's the best, but like I loved his. I mean, I have an attachment to him because he started like he was exactly my age, and so I saw the whole arc of his career, and I really liked all the decisions he made at certain points and like certain forks in the road and whatnot. But I wouldn't argue that he's like better than a Kendrick Lamar. You know, I think Kendrick deserves to be up there. Jay-Z is pretty incredible. I love the way Jay-Z's like evolved over time. Like I really like Nas, but I feel like Nas has remained pretty stylistically like consistent. Whereas Jay-Z, you see these big fluctuations.
I think 50 Cent is the best.
50's incredible.
Yeah. 50's like just one of those guys where it's like, I don't know, like you hear him in interviews and it's like clearly like he's not full of shit. Like he just hits his marks.
Yeah, he's consistent.
Yeah, you can tell the way he thinks is like very patient with himself.
He's a super intelligent guy.
Yeah.
He's well read. There's some moments in his interviews that like you say, like hit spots where you're like, oh, this is a serious person. Like I remember I forget what interview this was, but he was talking about drinking, and he was like, he goes to all these clubs to promote these parties and stuff, and does concerts, and he's like, I have one drink and then I'm done. Like I don't try to keep up with anybody else, and it's like
he like consistently parties at Encore.
Right, but I would imagine he's the guy who nurses one beer the whole night. Oh,
no, definitely. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then is still up in the morning at the gym, you know, writing emails the next day.
Yep.
You know, he's also the funniest guy in hip hop.
I don't know, Kanye.
Kanye's pretty hilarious, but 50's hilarious in a way that doesn't get him in trouble. You know,
that's true. Yeah,
which is kind of like Anthony Jeselnik said that on some podcasts, like. The art is like getting away with it.
Yeah, when I started doing comedy, I really wanted to be signed by like G Unit or Aftermath as like a comedian, hanging out with those guys because they just seemed funny to me.
Yeah, no, they definitely.
You know what I mean? That was like a dream, and I know it's never gonna happen, but it was like, oh, if I could just like hang out with these, like the Dr. Dre, like basically that LA Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. If those guys could just like hang out with me and write jokes with me. And be like, and then I'll have like a chain on stage, and that would be. Just
have a big G Unit chain.
Never say never, dude.
Like all three, like have like a Death Row, Aftermath, Shady Records, G Unit. Just have all my. You can't even hear me talk because the chains are just clinking together.
Throw a Bad Boy one in there. Nobody even knows what side you're on. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, dude, all those guys are hilarious. I mean, I don't know much about Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre's a pretty, like reclusive guy. But, like, Snoop Dogg is fucking hilarious and is still hilarious. His interviews, his, like, GGN interview series is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, genuinely funny.
Yep.
Well, yeah, dude, never say never. I mean, all these guys are getting into comedy more and more.
Yep.
I mean, Lil Dicky is like a respected part of the culture at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever freestyle rapped on stage, like Scotty?
No, I have rapped on stage, but I knew what I was gonna say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've done that 4 times. Actually. Yeah, I've rapped 4 times on stage, and then countless times in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Just like rapping to I think hip hop's wicked cool.
It's the best, man. It's the best. Yeah, I've freestyle rap before to myself, and like it actually kind of it comes so much more easily when you're calm and you're not affected by the anxiety of being around other people. But like if I were to try to freestyle with you guys right now, it would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
It'd be terrible.
I don't know. We could make a game out of it.
No, thank you.
You don't want to? All right.
No, not at all. I'd much rather talk about how.
I used to rap in high school.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Kenny was.
Were
Kenny
you in
was a
like
rapper.
a super group? Or was it just you?
It was me and some of my friends, but like we would do like solo artist stuff. We never did like group projects really. I did a mixtape with one of my friends who was in a different rap group.
Do you guys
That
ever
was
beef?
No.
Rhyme something with doctor.
What? That's a hard one actually. Damn. Doctor.
Soccer.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, I was not a free. I was more of a written type of guy.
Test proctor.
I was
gonna say
Proctor.
I almost said proctor
Yeah.
too, actually. Fuck.
Locker.
Shocked her with a taser.
Yeah.
To the tits.
Blocker. Cocker.
This is good podcasting.
Conquer.
This is great.
Conquer is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's a sad thing, the like death of the freestyle. I remember I used
What
to.
is that?
Well, I'd listen to radio shows growing up, and you'd get the sense with the older ones that guys were actually going off the top of the head and were actually
Yeah.
improvising. But now guys will go on a radio show and bring a freestyle, and it's clearly just a memorized. Sometimes it's just a verse from one of their songs.
Yeah.
You know, at a certain point that just became acceptable, which is, you know, I get it. Like to have to come up with something off the top of your head.
I think the saddest one of those, like, to me, it's not like sad as in like pitiful. It's sad as in like it's a shame that wasn't off the top of their head. Was Drake on Tim Westwood way back in the day?
Oh yeah.
He did a verse that was on Right Above It by Lil Wayne.
Yep.
But when he
dropped it first.
When he
Yeah.
he did it on Tim Westwood first.
Yep.
And it was like, that was amazing. And then it was on the song, but it was clear once you heard it on the song that it was like, oh, that wasn't improvised.
Yeah.
But he performed it on the show like it was all coming from the moment that he was like living in. So it was like, how
dude.
how many of these MCs are lying to us, man?
I know.
Probably all
Yeah.
of them, or most of them at
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
Do you remember that song off Frank Ocean's album Blonde with Andre 3000? That it's like this really intense freestyle. Well, it's like freestyle style. I don't think it was
Yep.
off the top of his head.
Yep.
But like where at a certain point it really stuck with me. He like laments. I think it was shortly after like the Drake ghostwriting scandal. And he was just like he laments like I thought everybody was writing their own shit. I thought that
Yeah.
was like a fundamental part of what we do. Turns out they're not, and that's fucking tragic.
Yep.
And it's like, I get it, you know, hip hop is pop now. You're gonna have tons of guys in the studio. You can collaborate and make something great. But that really resonated with me. It's kind of sad to see like purity of the art form take a hit.
Yeah, the
Andre
shame in
3000's another.
He's incredible. Yeah, belongs in the top 5 conversation for
The
sure. I would
shame
say.
in not right. Well, I mean, that's I have a different opinion on that because like if you're improvising like off the top of your head in a studio in like a closed space and you put that on the album, that's possible. You can do that.
Oh, that's yeah.
Radio shows there's a lot of pressure and you can't really just nail it the first time, so they go like, all right, you saw they kind of bullied Vince Staples into.
I think I saw this
freestyling.
interview and he was like, "Fuck off! I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not dancing for you."
Yeah, I was kind of mad about that because it was he made a good point. He was like, I just released an album
Yeah.
and now I have to rap.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you're young, you have to rap. Like, let's go, let's get it. And it was alright. Like, what he did was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that kind of thing, it kind of, from that perspective, it kind of comes down to, like, it almost became like a hazing ritual. Like, this is just something we make everybody do. And it's like rite of passage.
Especially newer rappers, too.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that was for a while, that was a thing. Kind of like how an NPR Tiny Desk concert is now. It's like you do a freestyle on Sway. It's like it's a stepping stone as part of a career path.
Yep. It's like a YouTube special to a
right
to
exactly.
a Netflix special.
Yeah.
Did you see the new Bob Marley movie?
I have not. I've seen ads for it. Looks alright.
With Bob Marley the musician.
You haven't seen the trailer for that?
I have seen the One Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. No. Did you?
Are we gonna edit that out?
I don't really care.
All right.
Yeah, keep talking. What about Bob Marley?
Oh no, I was just wondering if you guys saw the movie. I didn't see it yet.
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't. I tend to have a hard time with biopics like that try to capture. I think like a biopic can be really good. It's just really hard to capture somebody's entire life.
I'm also sick of biopics.
If you could,
A little much, yeah.
Yeah.
if you could have one comedian, one comic of all time, stand-up comedian, have a biopic about them, who would it be?
Probably Norm.
That's cool.
Ooh, that's a good
Probably
one.
Norm.
That's a cool one.
I don't know. It's a great question. I mean, there are guys that like came before that it would be nice to see if a biopic could be reliably well done. It'd be cool to see guys who came from the era where not much of their stuff was recorded. Like you can go on a YouTube rabbit hole and watch Norm clips like all day, but like there's only so much we have on like Lenny Bruce, for example. You know.
I think a Carlin biopic would be cool too.
They did an HBO documentary on Carlin that was pretty good.
Yeah. I feel like prior Carlin and Lenny Bruce, no one should make biopics about because it's so obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Aren't they doing
But
a
Pryor,
movie
they
for
were
someone?
They were going to make a movie about Pryor and have Mike Epps play him.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was a perfect actor for that role.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're similar outside of comedy at all, because it seems like Mike
But just
Epps,
physically, the
like if
resemblance?
anything, if I ever heard like a scandal with Mike Epps, I would be like heartbroken. I'd be like, how did this happen? This guy's so like he curses, he's dirty, but he's clean cut at the same time. Like you don't expect, no one really expected Pryor to light himself on fire, but yeah.
Yeah, I see there's a physical resemblance too.
Mike Epps is in everything too. He's in music videos. He's everywhere, and it's because he's reliable. I thought he would make a great Pryor.
Oh my God, that's right. He was in The Hangover. He was the drug dealer
Yeah,
in
yeah.
The Hangover.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was it? He had the funniest name. I forget what it was.
Galifianakis dropping the M-bomb to him?
Yeah. But yeah, you're right, Cam. What a fucking resume this guy has. There's so much. Dolomite is my name. That's cool. He was in 50 Shades. What about you? What would you want to see? Would you want to see the Mike Epps, Richard Pryor?
I mean, personally, I think I would want to see a Jerry Seinfeld biopic.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, it would be, I don't know. It's kind of weird to do a biopic about someone who's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know. Just
Seinfeld seems
Just
full of himself enough that he would allow that
Yeah,
to
I feel
happen.
like
I feel like
though,
there's
too.
so much. There's so much you can do in the first act. Just him growing up and then doing the Tonight Show 9 times,
Mm-hmm.
and then a middle act of Seinfeld, and then the last act is like everything he's been doing since the new millennium.
Right. Yeah, his career definitely lends itself to that 3-act structure. I know what you mean.
Yeah, you can, well, for reference points.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. I don't know. My only contention with that would just be that what he did with Comedian I felt like I got to know him so well through that.
Yeah, true.
That felt like you know, like we've got something. Whereas with Norm, we don't really have anything. You know?
He would be a great biopic too because of all the women in his life.
Yeah, dude, we could get that.
I was going to say the end of the
was
second act into the third act would be dating a 17-year-old.
Yeah, it just ends up being a fucking Woody Allen.
The downfall.
He had a lot of attention in the media, not just because of his comedy and all that stuff. He was like Pete Davidson before Pete Davidson. He was this like stand-up comedian that was like really getting a lot of notoriety for all the women in his life.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I think that would be really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are kind of... It is funny how casual they are about that in the show, Seinfeld, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these guys that, by all intents and purposes, are kind of like losers, are pulling gorgeous women casually every other episode.
Yep.
Like, Seinfeld will get dumped by, like, a 10 out of 10 and just be like, okay.
All right. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this guy's doing all right.
I don't know. I think the movie should end with him, like, signing the contract for B-movie. Just like, so how much am I getting paid? And then just signing.
I think it should end with him doing an episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee where he intentionally drives the car off a cliff with, like, I don't know, who would be in the car with him? Maybe, like, Larry David. They just go out together.
He was just in Boston yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that he was coming to Boston. Is he doing stand-up, or is it's just
I don't think it's stand-up. It's called A Conversation with Larry David.
Right, yeah.
This girl I know went, and she posted he was, like, sitting on a couch, like, talking to someone. I don't know who he was with, but...
Yeah, I saw Fran Lebowitz do a similar thing with my mom a few months ago. It's alright. They just bring, like, an interviewer along to basically ask them a bunch of questions that they've already thought about.
Oh, okay.
And then they take questions at the end, and it's like... You know, it's fun. I would go see Larry David do that.
Yeah, why not?
I love his stand-up. Yeah,
I haven't seen
much of it.
Yeah.
He does this great bit about Hitler asking the magician at a magic show questions after the show. That is the rabbit! And he does this whole thing. It's amazing.
Hitler interrogating a musician is a great fucking premise. Yeah, from what I gather, he was always really funny, but he could never control his temper. And so if a show started to go poorly or the people in the audience were rude, he would just end up screaming at them. And the club owners were like, dude, you can't. Like, this is what comedy audiences are like.
He's the fucking man, dude. He found his way, his niche of creating content for how he is and just rolled with it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, well, stand-up's not working.
He also got luckier than a motherfucker.
Yeah, it's true, I guess. But, I mean, he was writing on shows for, like, a long time.
Meeting
you know what
Seinfeld and everything.
Yeah.
Because they knew each other and they have a story that they tell that justifies them working together. I don't know. There could have been, like, any number of things going on. But fucking... friggin' Larry David was like just trying shit out for Curb.
How do you mean? Like post Seinfeld?
It's loosely improv.
Right, yeah.
But it's also written material.
Yeah.
So you have to get into a groove. I feel like he didn't have, like, what he's doing now has nothing to do with what he did in the first season.
I don't know. I feel like the core vibe of the show, I feel like has retained over the years. I know what you mean.
What's the name of the big guy in that movie? Or not movie, the TV show? What's the
Jeff.
name?
J.B. Smith. Oh, no, Jeff Garlin?
Yeah, I feel like he has a huge hand in it, too.
He's pretty
Definitely,
funny.
Yeah.
He has a stand-up special. It's pretty good.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, like, his career as a comic. Like, I'm saying, like, his contribution to that show is, like, underrated.
Oh, I agree. He's very funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like, Curb's been going on over 20 seasons.
No, this is the 12th season. Over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, there has to be some, like, I don't know. I don't own the DVD box set, so I don't really know.
No, I think I think I know what you're getting
behind the
at.
scenes.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Everyone kind of assumes they know how that show's put together, and
I don't think anyone does unless they've been a part of it.
I think it's probably like a constantly fluctuating balance between written and improvised.
And the editing
and then
is
they edit
fantastic.
Yeah.
The editing on that show is like the music they use
Yep.
gives a continuity episode to episode. Whereas most shows will just has kind of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia vibe with the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean, the
that
music
helps
has become
build an episode.
The music has become iconic.
Yeah.
Like it's become the refrain for whenever somebody commits a faux pas, that music's playing in the background of everybody. But yeah, I know what you mean in terms of getting lucky, because like that original cast were a group of people that bounced off of him so well, and like were able to improvise with him so well. Jeff Garlin, fucking Cheryl Hines,
Susie.
Susie's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. I mean, of course, when they found JB Smoove, he's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what made it great is their ability to improvise with him. Yeah.
What a show. The new season's fucking good, too.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's
The
moments
last
where...
couple episodes been getting even better, though, I feel like.
I don't know. That one with Vince Vaughn where he's like... he's explaining how he has this arrangement to fuck this dude's wife is one of the hardest...
that is so funny.
Him at the dinner table explaining that was so good. It made me want to like go back and watch every movie Vince Vaughn has ever made. I was like, this guy's fantastic. There's been a couple moments where I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I think he was right to be ready for the show to end. It's just like it's so... I don't know. It's just so well worn, these pads of him just making a fool of himself.
Yeah. Speaking of Vince Vaughn, dude, I'm on the second season of True Detective.
Oh, hell yeah. What did you think of the ending of the first one?
Shit was wild, dude.
Wasn't it awesome?
Yeah, it was so good.
Dude, how about the 40-minute boss battle?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, him just like saying shit to McConaughey while he was trying to find him and shit. That was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, the way he threw the fucking hatchet at Woody Harrelson was nuts.
Yeah.
Because he shot him and then he's just like...
Yeah.
Fucking rifles it at his chest. Yeah, that shit was crazy, dude. That was great ending. And already the second season, I can already see that it's not going to be as good. I've watched one episode.
Yeah.
Like, why are there so many people involved already? Like, you know what I mean? I don't like the whole dynamic of, like, they're all... Like, I get what they're doing. Oh, they're all from these different worlds and precincts, and they're going to come together and solve this murder.
I think, like, they could already see what was going to happen, which is that everybody was going to compare it to the first season.
Yeah.
So they wanted to do these things that would distinguish it. So, okay, we're going to have a female detective.
Yep.
We're going to have part of the story be from the perspective of a guy who's, like, a criminal, who's, like, one of the bad guys. So, to distinguish it, but... I mean, there's a couple scenes with Colin Farrell that make it worth, like...
Yeah. I'm still going to watch it, because I like the first season so much, so...
It's still
And I like Vince Vaughn, I like Colin Farrell, I like fucking... why am I blanking on...
I mean,
Detective
Rachel
Gordon,
McAdams.
fucking... Detective Gordon's name, dude.
Detective
The fuck
Gordon.
is it? He played Gordon in the Dark Knight Batman.
The fuck is his name? This is gonna drive me crazy. Gary Oldman?
Yeah, he's in it too, right?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Ah, fuck.
Who did you think he was playing?
The other cop.
Oh no, there's... Oh, sure. Hold on. Yeah, let's hit pause.
Yeah.
Before?
I haven't, but I know of it.
Yeah, I haven't either. Have you?
No.
Alright, so apparently, I don't know who it was, and if I did, I don't know if I would say anyways, but someone was on stage and their neon sign caught fire. Like, just burst into flames.
The capo sign that's always in the back?
neon
Oh, really?
capo sign.
Oh, shit. Recently?
Like, a couple months ago.
Damn, if I was religious, I'd be like, this person's the devil. This person's possessed by something. That is a
Was it
bad
Chris
omen.
Leadham on stage?
I don't know.
Oh my god, that'd be so
That'd be
perfect.
fun. He would just like keep going.
Yeah, he
Yes.
wouldn't have deterred him at all.
He would have planned it. Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Leadham, I went to Salem last week to do that mic out there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fucking great.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
going to go
great.
back there every Wednesday.
It's fun, dude.
It's awesome. That downstairs, if anybody listening to this is interested, go to Salem, go to this mic. What's the bar called?
Dire Wolf Tavern.
Dire Wolf Tavern. Were dire wolves a thing before Game of Thrones? Is that a real animal?
It must have. That place is probably older than Game of Thrones.
Presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so how do you get there?
Drive.
Oh, okay.
No, the commuter rail goes out there.
How close is it to the commuter rail?
There's like a stop like right near downtown Salem, which is where it
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Oh,
The mic is really cool.
The direwolf is an extinct canine. The direwolf lived in the Americas during the late Pleistocene and early Holocene epochs, 125 to 9.5 thousand years ago. I wonder what made it so distinctive. Oh, well, and even stranger than we thought.
Obviously, witches like this type of stuff.
Right, yeah, of course. That's
don't
all
get
I could
the
talk
whole
about when I was on stage.
The whole extinction bullshit. Like, so there's none of them left. But like, why can't we clone them and bring them back?
I think we're about to
That'll
be
be
able to.
soon, yeah.
We're on the verge of... We were literally talking about this with Leadham
Yep.
when we had him on.
Yep.
Yeah. They're working on this shit, dude. Don't worry. In your
Yeah.
lifetime, you'll definitely see...
Yeah, there'll be a Jurassic.
Anything that's lived on Earth at some point will be back. And then if we go extinct, the same thing. There's going to be like a little bomb shelter where they're just cloning humans until we have enough to go out there and like fend for ourselves.
I mean, that would be a wild way to like repopulate humanity. That'd be so interesting. If there was
Just all
some,
clones.
like a nuclear holocaust or something, and one of the few things that survived was a laboratory like that. Maybe that's the lab that's hidden in Alaska that we were talking about with Alexis.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this part of Alaska, Cam, where
Yeah.
like over the past like 10 years or so, like 20,000 people have gone missing in that particular part of Alaska.
Where it's just woods and nothing.
There's just nothing
nothingness.
there. And it could just be inexperienced travelers getting fucked up by bears or whatever, but we like to imagine that Raytheon or somebody has a lab out there where they're doing bizarre things they can't let other people see.
Don't they also make missiles?
Yeah, Raytheon is a universal defense contractor. They make everything. They
Yeah.
make everything.
Yeah.
They're the
Yeah,
missile
they make
guys,
the
I
dire
believe.
wolf. They can like use it. They can trick it into thinking that it like fights for America, and like just sick it on like the friggin' Russians, man.
Hey man, dude, if we can genetically like
Are you
recreate an extinct species,
Are you Russian?
no.
Me neither. Cool.
Fuck them.
Safe
Fuck
space.
them. Dude, the Putin Tucker Carlson interview bothered me so fucking much. I got fired up. I sent my dad like a long text about how, just being pissed, and he was like, "Take it easy." Because like Putin goes on this like 10-minute rant about how the world should go back to where it was in the year like 900. It's like if you did that, nothing would. Imagine the project that would be.
We're gonna
bring the
crusade,
world-
dude.
Yeah,
Fuck
let's
yeah,
bring it
dude.
back pre-Crusades. So America goes complete. We just give it back to the natives
Yep.
because that's what was going on then.
Yep.
Yeah, all of Europe is completely different. It's like it's an insane fantasy, and that's what he's using to justify. Just
You can bring back the Saxons, dude.
God, who knows what dynasty in China was active at that time?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
fucking Japan and China were probably like literally at war. That'd be a funny way to unpause it. It's like, all right, in
Nah,
the
you
year
guys are
900
back.
Yeah, you guys were on the brink of extinction, trying to kill each other. Speaking of Japan, dude, I crushed 4 episodes of that new show, Shogun.
Oh, I haven't
on
watched
FX.
it yet.
It's
Yeah.
sick. It's really good. Yeah.
It's like an anime type show, right?
No, it's live action. It's,
No, I know, but like an anime adaptation of live action.
No, it's based on a novel.
Oh, okay.
It's more like Game of Thrones, except it's historical fiction. So it's like
Oh,
it takes
sick.
place during an actual era in context of events that were actually happening. I forget what year it was, but it's like it's feudal Japan in the eras of the like Spanish and Portuguese empires. So the context is like Portugal and Spain have basically divided up the world into two, and as part of the deal, Portugal like got Japan. Japan is like Portugal's property.
Yeah.
But because so much territory was divided up in this deal, the Japanese, for the most part, don't even know that this happened. So like a British merchant gets like shipwrecked. He had letters of marque, which allowed him to basically commit piracy against Portuguese trading ships. So like that's his background. He gets like marooned in Japan and becomes an advisor to like this guy who's not a shogun, but like on this like council of leadership. It's just an amazing moment where he's just like, oh yeah, just so you know, like, you guys are part of the Portuguese Empire, whether you know it or like it or not. Like that's the reality.
So they just took him. They just took him over.
The problem with the dire wolf is that its head is too big.
That's why it died?
Yeah, it has to be.
Or are you just looking at the picture and being like,
it looks just like fucking lopsided, man. Like, but it's all in its jaw.
For the well,
it looks like a crocodile, but like with long, thin legs.
For everyone listening, we're looking at a picture of the skeleton of a dire wolf.
I see what you mean. The skull is about the size of the rib cage.
Yeah,
which is pretty big.
Yeah, and then the legs have to hold that up.
Yeah, I wonder why it went extinct.
Oh no, it was in Northeast Asia. Was that or Northeast China?
America.
It said paragraph.
America. It was North American.
They were found. Well, they said
they were here.
They said they found fossils out there.
How long ago was Pangea? When did the continents split apart? Probably more than 125,000 years. Like
I haven't.
More, probably millions, if not billions.
I feel like somewhere in my mid-30s, that's when I'm gonna hit my Pangea era. I'm not gonna get into it until then.
I'm saving that.
Saving it for when I'm good and bored. No, I really don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, dude, you know what we should do? We should get fireworks this weekend.
Oh, you should.
While we're up in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
I don't know if
we gotta stop
would let
somewhere.
us light them off in his house.
No, probably not. We'll do it at the venue before we leave. After we bomb, we'll bomb some fucking fireworks.
Yeah.
That first venue. The water horse.
Lot, though. We can't go in the parking lot. I refuse. If I get like banned from a place for having fun like that, I'll be like very upset with them.
Yeah, that's true.
But I know that
we'll walk down the street and do it.
Dude, you're right.
We'll shoot them out of the fucking
Cam.
car window. Who cares? You hold it out the window, and we'll shoot them around.
Cam, I think
this will come out after we were up there. So
I'm just saying that
it's just fine to talk about.
The face is too big.
Upper definition was the same, except that the direwolf had larger dimensions.
It literally looks like a human head, but it's on a horizontal held body. Mm-hmm. It's like if we walked on.
If we were just walking around like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, the jaw of the direwolf had a relatively broader and more massive temporalis muscle, able to generate slightly more bite force than the gray wolf. Yeah, so they could bite harder than a gray wolf. Why did they fucking die then? Who knows? Maybe some like massive weather event or whatever.
They were getting hunted for sport.
Climate impact.
For like wool or like
by the Native Americans.
Yeah, climate fluctuations basically. Man, climate fluctuations determine fucking everything. That was another thing I was getting from the Shogun series. They cover this really well. That like Japan deals with more natural disasters than I realized.
Yeah,
like they're dealing with. I mean, we know this, of course, but like,
dude, they've had like 2 of the biggest earthquakes of all time.
Yeah. Earthquakes, tsunamis.
Yeah.
I mean, I always
or like deadly. I should say deadliest earthquakes of all time.
Right. Yeah.
They've just gotten fucked up.
There was a wild one in Nepal a few years ago. Took out. Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Haiti's still recovering from that one from like fucking 2000, dude.
Ugh. But yeah, it had me thinking about like what effect that would have on your culture if every few years you can count on like all your buildings just getting swallowed up by the fucking by the ground just opening up beneath you.
Yeah, you
I got a
definitely.
question. What does YPD mean?
YBP.
Or yeah.
I don't know.
Some sort of variable for the skull measurement.
Is that like water displacement?
Wow.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's probably made up.
I'm just looking at the tooth wear.
It's still not entirely clear to me like why the obsession with dire wolves. Like why have them be so central to this show? Why have them be the name of this bar? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just a cool.
They're just a
wolf,
cool
nice
thing, yeah.
Yeah. If you were to have a familiar, Cam, like an animal that followed you around that you could communicate with telepathically, would you go with a wolf?
And like
I could see you riding a giraffe
I
around.
think
Seems more like a bear type of guy.
probably an elephant.
Yeah, elephants rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep an otter by my side at all times.
Cam's elephant.
I'd get really into
Cam's elephant just
pistachios.
steps on it
dude.
by accident.
Get really into pistachios. Have him fucking crack them on his belly.
Did you hear about that lady who? There's a couple great elephant stories. There's a lady who like was really like she made a bunch. She was a widow and she got a bunch of money in the will. She had like a rich husband who died, and so this all the money became like she would put it towards wildlife conservation, particularly elephants. She was obsessed with elephants. And one year she goes to Africa to see them for the first time, the elephants that she'd been like saving with her money. And they killed her like instantly.
Yep.
And stepped on her. Like, fuck you. We didn't ask for your money. Dumb white bitch.
No, the best one is we've talked about this I think twice now on the podcast.
It's worth talking about.
The lady that fucking she like was like trying to hunt elephants and they killed one of them killed her, and then they had a funeral for her. And then he showed up to the funeral and fucked up her casket.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. That is so funny. He didn't touch anyone else at the funeral. Only her casket. It's great. Unfinished business.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. YBP? I have no idea.
Definitely the year.
Year by approximation? I don't
Yeah,
know.
something like that. More to eat in 28,000
You're a big
than
penis.
there was in 2,600.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Or actually, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because they have high tooth wear. They're probably eating a lot.
Probably, yeah.
Or it's the opposite, and they're eating rocks. They're like just chomping on like whatever they can find.
My neighbor's
To,
dog
like,
does
get
that. Just
high.
munches on rocks
Yeah.
consistently.
Yeah.
Just yeah, she just
There's
digs
animals
up
that
rocks and just
There's-
chomps on them, dude. Yeah.
There's animals that will just chew on things that they can't digest just to get like a feeling of like euphoria.
Yep.
Yeah. We do that.
I'm
Yeah.
chewing gum right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too loud in the microphone.
I've seen wolves one time in my life. I was with family. We went to Yellowstone, and we went to this specific place at this specific time where like you could look through a really powerful telescope because wolves are endangered, and so you could look through this powerful like telescope and see them like way off in the distance. And I was like, all right,
That was cool.
cool, yeah. I didn't really get a sense of. I feel like where wolves really shock people is how big they are, and I couldn't quite get a sense of that.
Yeah.
Because, like, you see images of wolves standing next to huskies, and you're like, oh, this would be fucking terrifying to encounter.
Yeah.
This would not be, It's wild to think that that's how we got dogs, is that we basically befriended wolves and got them to chill the fuck out. And you see, like, how easily they could fuck people up.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're strong as fuck. Alright, we gotta get the direwolf off the screen, dude. It's fucking distracting, Cam, dude.
Yeah, we've ruined Cam with this.
Wikipedia in general will just have me so like ADHD.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Wikipedia so much.
Yeah. It
I
reminds
hate
me.
Britannica. Britannica can suck
Yeah.
my ass, but fucking Wikipedia is the best.
Wikipedia fucking rules.
Yeah.
I used to fuck with Wikipedias when I was in high
I
school.
also like
I did too.
Yeah.
It's
Shout
amazing
out-
how quickly they get corrected.
Yeah.
It's astonishing.
shout out
Yeah.
to Wikipedia. Are you familiar?
No. What is Wikipedia?
Wikipedia is
Chewbacca's.
it's like exactly it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
Star Wars Wikipedia.
Sick.
No, they actually because I'm diagnosed schizoaffective. They put a post up on Wikipedia that made me feel good about my schizophrenia.
No shit.
Yeah, because they said the Millennium Falcon has 3 droid brains, and that's why it gets into like humorous schizophrenic episodes with itself, where like the ship like won't work because it's like arguing in 3 different like most people have they have logic and creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And that argues with itself and it picks whatever side is going to work the best for the group. But I had 3, so I'm just like fucking stimulated all day, like walking around like, what the fuck am I going to do? And then I have to pick last minute. It's all, yeah. My brain works like South Park, where it's like 6 days to air.
Yeah.
And it's, and it's like, oh shit, like we have 5 hours to get this episode in.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works, and sometimes it's fucking, what was that episode that everyone was like trashing on? The crab people? Sometimes it's crab people.
Yeah, the crab people.
I don't
episode.
remember that one.
It was like that. It was Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, and they made everyone feminine, pretty much all the men in South Park.
Yeah.
But it was really just crab people from underground. They were trying to take over the world by making all males feminine.
Crab
people.
Which is something, of course, that people do literally believe is happening. People think that Queer Eye is a psyop. Anything that's remotely gay, people are like, they're coming for us.
Yep.
And it's like, relax, dude. That's interesting. Schizoaffective. I don't know any of like the designations of like different kinds of schizo. How old were you when you found out?
23.
Okay.
It was like 22. Was I 22 or 23? I think I was 22, and then like a month later, I got diagnosed as bipolar, and then like maybe like 3 years later, I got diagnosed with schizoaffective, and they kept it that way, and gave me medicine for that. And I take my meds. I've taken them like every day for like, what is it now? It's like since 2016, which is when they diagnosed me. Yeah.
What has your experience been with the meds? I've heard that can be tough for some people. They feel like it like dulls them, or, you know.
They just took me off something because I've been doing good, and I feel good. Yeah.
What would you notice is the difference? If you did notice one, I don't know.
Less self-medicating. I just don't have the like need to like drink or smoke weed.
That's good.
Yeah, I smoke tons of cigarettes. My mom hates that I smoke. She's like, I quit when I was 30. You should quit too. And I'm like, I got this. Cancer is not a problem. I know how to nick it. I know how to just get the nicotine right and then blow all the smoke out. And she's like, you're an asshole. That's what we all tell ourselves, is that we're smoking it differently than the other people.
That's the funniest thing that has been
makes us-
said on this podcast, dude.
Yeah.
The idea that, like, people who got lung cancer and died were just sucked at smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just bad at
That's what
smoking.
I tell myself that. I tell myself that. I'm like, no, I actually know what I'm doing here. I'm like an evil Knievel of smoking cigarettes. Like, don't try this at home.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I don't know. I think it looks cool. and not be while I'm doing it. Anytime I'm smoking a cigarette, I feel like a douchebag. But if I take a picture of myself smoking a cigarette, and then I look at it the next day, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy a pack right now. Like, this is pretty awesome what I'm doing right now.
It's funny. Like, the only thing douchier than smoking a cigarette is probably taking a selfie
While you're smoking. Yeah.
That's the only time anybody's ever probably thought that.
The only reason I did take a picture was because my beard was really big that day,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I want to see how like homeless I look. And then I looked at it the next day, and I was like, I shouldn't have shaved my beard. I look fucking awesome in this picture.
And it was just the facade of the cigarette. The cigarette made it look nice.
But the other thing about meds that's important is like sleep. Like, you can't just like go out, do shows all the time and like not like sleep helps you. Like, you have to let the meds like go. Like, you can't be like active all day and then not chill at night, like, which makes stand-up kind of like, I don't know, I'm on a lot of meds because I do stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So it like
they know my lifestyle, so they're like, okay, I take like 13 pills a night.
Damn.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair to say.
Yeah, and then
to like help you get to sleep, like otherwise you won't sleep, or
yeah, well, I take like 3 milligrams of melatonin,
mm-hmm.
which isn't a ton.
It's a pretty standard amount.
Dude, I was living in Somerville at this group home, and there was this dude lived there, and he would always try to like overdose on the gummies. He would take like 15 melatonin gummies and stay up. Like, he would break the wall, and he would be bucked up playing PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that can happen without taking melatonin. If you stay up long enough, your brain just runs out of the natural melatonin that it produces.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I've noticed about meds too? When I started getting symptoms of mental illness, when I would publicly lash out at people, people would act like it came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. But now when I do it, people are like, okay. Like, he just had a moment, but like, it's not like misbehave. Like, when I would do it before, they'd be like, oh, this guy's like crazy. But now it's like, oh, he's our neighbor, so there's context.
Oh, so yeah, it's like, oh, that's just Cam. That's just Cam.
There's not even there. Like, I'm able to understand contextually when it's appropriate.
I see.
Do something. Whereas when you're not medicated, you're making up reality. Yeah, I'm basically like, I don't know. Like, I'm an asshole in public sometimes. I don't hang out with people. So, like, if someone says something to me at the corner store and I don't like it, it's not this weird thing where I made up why they're saying it. Or, like, if someone gives me a look, I'm not, like, creating a false reality. You're more like, grounded.
You're just like,
which
fuck
is great
you,
for comedy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, like, I'm on par with everyone else now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the feeling that, I mean, obviously, with any version of schizophrenia, you're experiencing it a more extreme version than the average person. But I notice in times in my life where I've been, like, get put on Adderall for ADD or get put on Wellbutrin for depression, I've noticed the same exact thing where it's like suddenly I feel like, oh, this is how other people must be thinking. Like, that I'm in line with people in a way that I wasn't before. Before, I'd be like really anxious or in my head about something, and then I'd be relaxed and realize like, oh, this is how everybody else around me is experiencing this moment. You know?
Yeah, that's why Stephen Hawking was great.
How so?
He was so above us mentally, but physically grounded him. He was just like in the middle. He was your average Joe, basically. Because like he would have to like get help to talk about black holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was still getting pussy, apparently. Not just with the Epstein's Island stuff, which apparently,
that
unfortunately,
shit's
was...
so fucked up.
I mean...
I don't understand how people are using that as a punchline in comedy.
The Epstein's Island stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just, like, so, like... It's hacked right away.
Right. Anything like that where the jokes write themselves.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I hate it so much. I'm like, you should have your own flavor.
Right.
I hate when I listen to somebody and it's like anyone could have said that. Well, maybe not that, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I would, in comedy, like, I would want to do something in comedy where it's clear that I wrote it.
Oh, of course.
But with that, it's just, like, formulaic for the most part.
Yeah.
Every joke I've heard about that is formulaic.
It's just who did it quicker, really, is all that is. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah.
First dibs.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and it's like, I'm on TV, so I get to say this quickly.
Yep.
But rarely are any of those moments profound later.
I think Twitter's kind of been good for comedy in this respect, because whenever something like the Epstein's Island thing happens, or like, for example, like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, you know,
yeah, you can just throw a good tweet out instead of.
But what I'm saying is, like, every single joke, every single hack joke that could possibly be made about it gets made on Twitter within like 5 minutes. So if you're gonna be at all original, you have to really think deeply about it, because if you just try some hack thing, everybody in the audience has already seen that joke earlier that day, you know? Yeah, I totally know what you mean. I think it's like, you know, you ever hear that expression, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence? It's like an extraordinarily obvious joke or an extraordinarily obvious premise needs an extraordinarily unique perspective on it. You know, like if you're going to go up and talk about God, or you're going to go up and talk about like men and women, we're different, you know, it's like you better have a unique fucking perspective on it. Because we've all heard these things a million times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, outside. What was the thing we were talking about? Oh, someone faking amnesia. We were talking about this outside. And, like, Cam said that that's like a 80s, like, sitcom premise.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were doing voiceovers for, like, oh, Emily didn't like her job at the fucking Starbucks. So after this little fender bender, all her problems were solved. She just fakes amnesia.
That just reminded me of one of my favorite Family Guy things. Peter narrating his own life. You know? You remember that one? It's like, I sat down for dinner. Lois,
Oh, yeah.
Lois put forward some cooking that I knew wouldn't be very good.
You gotta use a celebrity, though, when you do the
voiceover
the
thing.
sitcoms.
Yeah.
It's gotta be like, Justin Bieber is faking amnesia. Why? He has a show coming up that he doesn't want to do.
I mean, there's some amazing stories that people trying that shit in real life, like Sammy Sosa forgetting that he spoke English during his steroid trial. You remember that?
No, that's fucking hilarious.
That's great.
This is a real thing that happened.
I love Sammy, man.
Yeah.
Sammy's the best.
Yeah.
He rules. I mean, dude, the day after 9/11, him, like, running an American flag around the stadium was, like, still fires me up. I love that shit.
Now he looks like he only speaks English.
Yeah, he's spoken good English his entire life.
No, because he like went white.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he
trans white.
Yeah, he almost, not fully Michael Jackson, but like
Yeah,
he got whiter and whiter somehow. But yeah, there's a court case. There might even be footage of it, because it was in a actual courtroom. They're adjudicating whether or not. Oh, it wasn't steroids. It was whether he corked his bath. That was that scandal. And yeah, he stopped answering questions and was like, no puedo.
I don't know, well, because I'm a big Patrice fan, so like I don't know if I should say black or African American.
I think black at this point.
Black?
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
To a certain extent, don't all black people have vitiligo?
I don't know. I suppose, like, yeah, maybe. I mean, every man has.
I look at my palms. Look at my palms. This one's better. See how it's like different?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
Are you an albino black person, Cam?
I don't know. I hope so. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that is the ultimate N-word pass. Is like you get white privilege, but you can also use the N-word.
Yeah.
Like,
So the thing with
The Blake Griffin.
the Blake Griffin.
the thing with my schizophrenic characteristics, and my mom has to deal with. Both my parents have to deal with this on a weekly basis. Is that sometimes I get messages saying that my parents are different people than my parents.
Messages as in like internally.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like I'll be watching something and I'll be like, "Oh, that's my dad."
Ooh. Interesting.
But then I'll hang out with my parents and it's like normal. But one time I was hanging out with my dad and I was like, "We should get a blood test." And he was like, "Why?" I'm like, "'Cause you're not my dad." And he's like, "I was there when you were getting fucking born. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, that would be a brutal way to find out that your wife had fucked around on you. Is your schizophrenic son literally imagines the truth and it turns out to be real.
That would be brutal.
God, what a tough thing to have to go through, to have to deal with. Yeah, I'm glad you finally got at least a somewhat accurate diagnosis, and they've medicated you properly.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been wild growing up and like not knowing that was happening.
One time, but it's not even like specific people that like are. It has been like dead celebrities. So you bring up the white albino thing. That's what brought me to that thinking point.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought, I thought Biggie was my dad. Mm-hmm. I talked about this on stage. I thought Biggie was my dad, and I was sitting on his lap when he got shot because I have a scar on the side of my stomach right here.
Yeah, and
it could have been bullet entry. And then
so you thought you took a bullet for Biggie?
I thought I took a bullet for Biggie. And so the whole thought was I took a bullet for Biggie. Biggie was like, "You're not going to shoot my son without getting fucking destroyed now." And now he's like laying low. That was like the whole thought.
If you ever put out a stand-up special, you got to tell these stories and you have to name it A Bullet for Biggie, because that's an amazing fantasy to have, man. I love that.
Yeah, Bullet for Biggie is a great name for a special.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, how many... It might be hard to remember. It strikes me as the kind of thing where, like, yeah, you'll have a memory triggered, but it's hard to, like... It's not like you have an archive that you can just pull from.
Yeah.
But I could listen to you tell these stories all day, dude.
Me too, yeah.
But yeah, the white albino thing.
I had a question I wanted to ask you. What was it like starting so young in comedy?
How old were you?
16, but I went to 2 shows when I was like 15, and then they were like, you have to come through, watch a couple shows, and then we'll have you perform. And then after a while, they were like, "Have you heard of open mics?" And I was like, "No, who's Mike?" And they're like, "Oh no, not like Michael, you asshole." And I was like, "All right." And then I like
Who's
showed
Michael,
up.
and what is he open to?
Yeah, so then I like went to the Sally O'Brien's open mic, and I think Josh Gondelman was running it, and then I got yelled at by Sean Sullivan. You know Sean?
I know of him, yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. He yelled at me, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's the best." Like right away, it was like he's like putting me in my place. This is actually really funny. I had been working on it through senior year of high school, and then these 2 agents from Mosaic Media Group saw me do stand-up and brought me to New York to perform at Gotham. Mm-hmm. And I was on a show with Colin Kane and Greer Barnes.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's amazing you got discovered, dude. That's awesome.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I auditioned for some things.
And then you went to school in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did Gotham again, and that was for... They both, Susie and Molly, the two agents, went to CAA, and one of those people watched me again at Gotham, talked to me, and then, yeah. That's pretty much all the industry type stuff I've done is just like a couple of shows for people to check me out.
Didn't you say that you wrote a joke that got told on late night or something?
Oh, yeah. So that was funny. I don't use the joke anymore. The joke was, how's it go? How'd he say it?
Which late night was it, first of all?
Conan, Team Coco.
That's awesome. I love Conan.
Back in like 2013. So Matt D was the comic, and he heard me tell this joke, and then was like, that was really funny, I'm doing Conan, can I use that? And I said, yeah, definitely. And I was like a little drunk, and he was like, can I give you like $40 now and like some weed? And I was like, yeah.
Oh, God. What a disgusting world we you know what I mean? Huh? Comedy's just such a grimy world, because in proportion to how significant that is to somebody's career, like that's worth so much more than $40 and a bag of weed. Mm-hmm. I'm also kind of amazed that somebody would want to do a late night appearance telling somebody else's jokes.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, there's guys like you know like the story of Jack Roy.
No.
So Jack Roy was a comedian in New York that was doing stuff at the what is it called, the scales I don't know, some club in like the mountains. Look up Rodney Dangerfield.
Dangerfields?
Yeah, Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, look him.
I mean Rodney Dangerfield's.
His real name is Jack Roy.
Oh, Rodney Dangerfield's real name was Jack Roy?
I'm doing a terrible job explaining this.
Okay, we'll get there. Okay, Rodney Dangerfield Scales, you said?
Just look him up. It's going to be on his Wikipedia.
Okay.
Catskills.
Yeah. Oh, Catskills. Oh, yeah. So that's where comedy was kind of, our modern iteration of comedy was kind of born. Yeah.
So he would go do shows there, and then in his spare time, he would like sell jokes out the back of his car.
That's sick.
For like nothing.
Yeah.
He just liked writing jokes.
Yeah.
And then he changed his name to Rodney Dangerfield and started hitting it big, and that was his thing. Yeah.
Dangerfield's jokes, like his style is so timeless. I'm so impressed by that. Because, like, you know, we were just talking about like people reacting to these big events. It's like, it might be funny in the moment, but it's not going to last. Yeah. Whereas Dangerfield's jokes are so evergreen. I mean, like that joke of like, this girl called me, told me to come over. There's nobody home. I went over. There's nobody home. It's like that kind of. That's always gonna be funny.
Oh, I tell you.
Yeah, that belongs in any era. That's gonna be funny. No respect.
Don't get no respect.
No respect. All right, I have to get rid of the Wikipedia, or we're gonna lose Cam again.
Yeah. Close that thing down.
But yeah, Matt D did the joke. I slept with my third cousin. The first two were so mad about it when they found out.
Yeah, I love that joke.
That's so good, man.
Yeah. I have it in my back pocket, or used to. Because he said I could still use it.
Yeah.
But, like, he was still using it. We were both telling the joke, but on different shows, which I think is cool. Mm-hmm. I think it's okay to do that. As long as he's the only one telling it in front of a camera, right? It's cool. Like, I can't use it for anything except to get me out of a jam.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I can kind of be like, all right, like this crowd is like kind of here, and I need to get off stage. I'll just throw this out real quick.
Yeah.
I've had little like agreements like that with comics before. Obviously not at this level, but like Weil Schumacher and I once were riffing and like came up with a bunch of material all at once, and we both were just like, yeah, if either one of us uses this, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know? It's both of ours. And yeah, I feel like as long as the discussion happens, you know, artistically, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least you guys had that agreement. That would be gut wrenching to have that back and forth with the guy sitting at the bar, have him not say anything, and then see him doing the joke on late night, which I'm sure has happened to some people.
Oh, definitely.
It's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, it was fun. Still is. Comedy's still fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're truly, and like, no bullshit, I'm not just saying this because you're here. You're one of my favorite people to see go on stage because you're so unpredictable. Like, you always have new material. It's always good, but also, like, the way you interact with the room,
Yep.
it's like, you're clearly just not afraid, which is, you know, blowing smoke up your ass, but like, it's great, man. It's for the majority of open micers being like nervous and not really having found their voice or their stage presence. It's really refreshing to see you go up there and just like not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Where do you
That's
get
great.
your ideas for jokes?
I don't really have a system. I just sort of try to pay attention to everything that happens to me and everything that I hear throughout the day. And if something strikes me as not just funny, but also like unique to me, like you're saying, like a perspective where like, oh, I don't think anybody has said this, then I hold on to that and try to morph it into something. But I don't have like an ability to like sit down and stare at the computer screen and like
Me neither.
and write out stuff unless it's stuff that has already occurred to me naturally. What about you?
I mean, like, I can sit down and write something, but it's always going to be condensed down to a couple of lines. And it's going to have, like, I don't know, just because I believe it will have more shelf life if I do that. You can't really just, like, go out and have the same spiel every time. Unless you're, like, a touring comic and you have a different crowd every week and you're, like, getting up in front of audiences that don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know, writing on stage a little bit. Yeah. For the most part, it's just like telling stories. And then trying to like fit jokes in there somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
definitely a technique that I've used, is just I'll have something that happened to me that day or something that I saw on the news or something and just tell it as a story and then listen to where people laugh, because I never know what the funny thing is going to be. Listen to the moments at which people laugh and then tell the same story again, but cutting the fat between the moments where people laughed. It's probably the most methodical way I go about it.
Yeah, I can't sit down and write a joke really either. It's hard for me. I usually just like, if something happens, or I'll be like, it's always in the worst times too. Like I'm in the shower, my phone's charging in my room. Something comes in my head and I'm like, fuck, I gotta fucking
Shower's
jump out
a
of
big
the shower.
one. Right before bed.
Whenever I'm doing something where I don't have use of my hands at work, I'm always thinking of like at work I think of a lot of jokes. It's weird.
Yeah, I used to work at Starbucks, right? And I would use probably like a roll of receipt paper a day, just printing out blank paper and then writing with a Sharpie really quick and shoving it in my pocket. And they'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm working, don't worry." And I'd like make drinks, but then I'd be back at the receipt paper like...
There's something about...
And they caught wind to it because like someone said something really stupid, like a customer did, and I was like, "Okay, hold on one second," and I went up to the receipt paper, and they were like, "Oh, he's like writing jokes. That's like what he's doing right now." They thought I was just like a madman. Yeah.
Little did they know it was even worse as a comedian. Yeah, there's something about being busy with like something else that kind of like relaxes the part of your brain that thinks of jokes and primes it. Whereas if you try to squeeze the juice intentionally, it doesn't really work. But yeah, I find that when I'm driving, sometimes things will scare me.
Yep.
Listening to music. Yeah. We're at an hour 15.
Perfect.
Got it.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Cam. Been looking forward to this.
Hell yeah,
No
happy.
problem, man.
Happy
I'd be
to have
glad
you.
to do it again.
Hell
Fuck yeah.
I had fun. This is a cool setup you guys have.
Thanks, man.
Fuck yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Do you have
anything you want to plug?
Well, we could plug. Well, is this going to be up before our shows?
No, this will be up after.
All right. Well, I don't want to confuse the audience, so I'm going to tell them.
Yeah, tell them anyways.
Tomorrow, I'll be at the Burn in Davis Square. Show starts at 10. That's the 3rd. The 5th and 6th, I'll be in New Hampshire. The first show on the 5th is at Waterhorse Tavern. And the 6th is at Kathleen's Irish Cottage. And Kenny's going to be on both of those shows.
Yes, sir.
And then the Burn again, I'm doing a contest on April 10th. And then I'm doing something in Dorchester at Dot Tavern. I don't know the specific date, but
It's always a Thursday, though. It's one of the Thursdays.
the 14th maybe of April or May.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it's
May sounds
I
better.
think it's May 14th.
Yep. Dot Tavern, baby. Go check them out. Zach and Billy are the homies.
For me, it looks like my show on the 7th might get postponed. So while this podcast will in all likelihood go up on the 7th, it might still be possible for people to buy tickets to that.
Fuck yeah.
Where's that at?
Tavern in the Square in Austin.
Cool.
Yeah, we're trying to build a relationship with them. We need to get people out to these shows because if we can build a good relationship with that tavern, we can build a good relationship with all
the other taverns. Yeah.
Could be really good for Boston comedy, like in general.
The best
Fuck yeah,
place
come on out.
The
The room was cool, too.
I thought it was perfect. I thought it was fine.
The best place I ever performed at on a consistent basis was at the Great Scott Rock Club in Austin. And that building over COVID got sold, and they're using it for different purposes.
That's tragic.
So if there's anyone out there that knows what I'm talking about and wants to put up a show at like a rock club or something like that, that would be amazing.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get on that.
Right.
We have premiere on May 2nd is the next show.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Vickers is going to headline that one.
Sick.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
This ain't nothing without it.